Good morning. The Board of Pardons is called to order. Today is Monday, March 24th, 2025. It is 9:03 a.m. I'd like to ask the secretary to call the roll, please.
Ms. Renata?
Here.
Ms. Stapleton?
Here.
Mr. Prater?
Here.
Mr. Timmons?
Here.
Mr. Breeden?
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We will allow public comment on requests before any action item. The first item under regular business is review and approval of the minutes from our Monday, March 10th regular meeting are included in your packet.
I make a motion that we accept.
We have a motion by
Second.
Mr. Tillis, second by Mr. Friedman to approve the minutes from Monday, March 10, 2025. Any objection? The minutes are approved. And our next agenda item is consideration of applications for clemency and pardon. And our first case this morning is Mr. Brazwell. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Would you introduce yourself, sir? Tell us your name and your current mailing address.
My name is Sean Ken Brazwell. Current mailing address is 13194 Hollingford Avenue, Baton Rouge, 781.
Okay, thank you, sir. And you are here this morning seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms. You were sentenced in December 2000 to 7 years in East Baton Rouge Parish for possession of LSD. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
So, Mr. Braswell, your case has been assigned to Mrs. Stapleton. So would you take a minute before she starts her interview with you? Tell us why you're seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms.
Yes, ma'am. I own a small business right in mid-city Baton Rouge. And I've been there now 10 years. It's a little breakfast diner. We do breakfast and lunch. And mid-city is great, and it's coming up so much since I've been there, but it's still quite dangerous in a sense to where there are many mornings in my parking lot, there are random wanderers or homeless people, and some of these people are on substances. You can tell that they're not in their clear mind. And I felt threatened on a few different occasions when I opened the doors at 4:30 in the morning, where I didn't feel safe going into my own business. And I've never even needed a gun. It's just the fear of somebody walking up behind me that I don't see, because we have a lot of homeless people in that area that just blend through, and you might see somebody for 2 months straight and you won't see them at all. But there are many mornings I'll have to literally go up and get somebody to move from in front of my door to unlock my doors. And it's just a fear of somebody taking advantage of my kindness, because I've fed homeless people since I've opened this business. I don't allow anybody to beg for money. I think it's rude. Just because people come in to have breakfast, they don't associate their breakfast with guilt. So I will feed anybody out there. Just fear. There's been at least 8 occasions since I've been there in 10 years where I had to call one of my friends who are a police officer and ask for assistance. People that wouldn't leave, or people that were very threatening in some way. And I just wanted to make sure that I had the right to protect myself if needed.
Would you answer Ms. Stapleton's questions, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Braswell, do you want to explain quickly what brought you to the point that you're now needing a pardon with restoration of firearms as far as criminally? What happened?
Criminally, my father passed away in 1996. He raised me, and I was living in Connecticut. I had a great life in Connecticut, doing well. Came back here because I had a younger brother and sister who were 10 and 8 years younger than me. And when I came back, I wanted to be here for their support, but mentally I was not strong enough to support them. And when that happened, I got lost in a bad lifestyle, and that took over person that I was.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see it at the time because I was just trying to drown myself in the pain that I was trying to go through. I didn't realize how fast that lifestyle would escalate so quickly. And I was not in a good place at all, mentally or emotionally or anything, and I truly got lost.
Yes. Well, I'm glad for your recovery.
Thank you.
And they're not here to say it, but I thought you would like the encouragement of we get comments from the judges and sheriff's office and different people like that. Let's see. His sister is in favor of since you granted. The East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office is unopposed to a pardon with the right to bear arms as, this is what's nice, Mr. Brazwell has remained out of trouble and has a successful business. It also says that you completed your sentence more than 16 years ago and remain felon free. So that speaks a lot. Thank you.
Any other questions? I don't see any other questions. I think we're ready to vote. Ms. Stapleton.
Yes, I vote for you to be granted your pardon with the restoration of firearms.
Mr. Prater,
I concur.
Mr. Freeman,
I concur.
and Mr. Tillis.
I concur also.
And I do as well.
Thank you all so much.
We'd like to, we're going to make that recommendation to the governor on your behalf.
Thank you all so much.
Yes, sir. Morning. Mr. James, would you introduce yourself, sir? Tell us your name and current mailing address.
My name is John Dwayne James. My mailing address is 3938 Duvon Lane, Lot 7, Alexandria, Louisiana. Do y'all need my DOC number as well, or?
No, we haven't.
Okay. Here I help.
And I want to welcome, let's see, you have with you, is this Damon?
Yes, ma'am.
Didier?
David Didier.
Didier.
Thank you for pronouncing that right.
Didier.
He wants to, you'll speak on his behalf. I'll ask you to do so in just a moment.
Yes, sir.
First, let me just read some identifying information, Mr. James. You are here seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms. You were sentenced in the 35th Judicial District, Grant Parish, in 2005 for a domestic abuse battery. You received a 90-day parish jail that was suspended. You were placed on 6 months unsupervised probation in October 2005. Is that information correct? Okay, sir. So tell us why are you seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms?
I hope I've earned a pardon in y'all's eyes by keeping my nose clean, by staying out of trouble. And being this is a first offense misdemeanor, I've done everything I could to keep myself on the right. I'm gonna walk straight and narrow. Sorry if I stuttered a little bit.
It's okay.
Just nervous as a long tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I'm also hoping that if I get this pardon, I can go back to what I used to do and be a corrections officer, because that's something I'm miss dearly. Because how many jobs can you say you kept a rapist with his hands on another woman, or a pedophile put his hands on another youngin? That's something I miss dearly. It's also my hope that I get this pardon, because not only that, if I can't be a corrections officer for whatever reason, at least something close to that, like security, or I've had so many job opportunities. I'm sorry, Greg, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I've had so many job opportunities over the years, and they've all been thrown down the trash because of this charge I'm holding. I had a chance to go work in Iraq. I had a chance to go work in Afghanistan. I would have made $136,000 just to sit on my rear end and watch monitors. And as soon as this charge come up on the background check, they pretty much told me to hit the bricks. We can't hire you because you're a white beat violent criminal. I also had a chance to work. I mean, I had Walmart deny me. This Walmart's only, you're a white beat violent criminal. We can't hire you. And because of that, I wound up homeless, ate out of a dumpster, slept under a bridge. Got in my whole life because I was homeless at the time. But I just made a promise to myself, somehow or another, I'm going to be a corrections officer again. Because I ain't about to go out like that. Sorry.
It's okay. Well, I tell you what, why don't we hear from Mr. Didier? What would you like us to know about your friend?
My name is Lieutenant David Didier. I'm a field training officer and road supervisor in the Washington City Police Department. When I met John, I was the general manager of Five Guys, the national restaurant chain. He was my absolute hardest worker. I could call him anytime, day and night. He could drop what he was doing if I need to have him replace somebody. Never called in, never missed a shift. Just an excellent, good, salt of the earth guy. Like I said, very hard worker, very dependable. Treated everybody in the store with the utmost respect. Just a really, really good human being, and I kind of hope he gets this pardon from you guys so he can move on with his life in the direction he would like to take.
Right, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, Mr. James, your case has been assigned.
Didier,
Yes,
you were the manager at Five Guys, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, that was one of the questions I wanted to discuss with you all. That's one thing that bothered me. He was fired from Five Guys, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That was after I left. And the gentleman who fired him was my supervisor. And I don't talk bad about people, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. He was not a very good district manager. He was terrible with the employees on all 5 stores that
okay.
he was in charge of.
If you don't really have any direct knowledge of it,
No, sir.
then I'll shift my question to you, sir. Since we're on that particular thing, why did you get fired? That's
Well, got a long-winded story. Hold up, break yourself.
just,
Oh, I tried to give the nuts and bolts version. Sorry.
yes, sir.
The reason I got fired from there is because I don't know exactly how they put it in the officially, incorrigible behavior, something like that. I haven't even thought about why I got fired in a while. I'm so sorry, sir. All right, this new general manager that come in, she come on and me and her was butting heads quite a bit. And I'm sitting there, 'cause I've been there almost 5 years, I'm sitting there trying to train her, teach her how to do stuff. To where we don't end up breaking other machines and everything, like, the fryers and drop the fries in the fry baskets and everything. Trying to teach her when you drain the grease out of it, make sure you got the machine off, otherwise it can potentially start a fire. And she'd be turning them on, I'm sitting there letting her know, please don't do that, that can damage the stuff. Well, over the course of time, we keep butting heads and everything, and I'm not gonna wits in, because me and the district manager there, Mr. Danger was talking about, me and him didn't see eye to eye neither. Because, I'm just that kind of worker that once I know how to do something, I try to teach you the best way to do it, so nothing gets damaged, nothing gets broke. Well, at one point in time, they were sitting there and started yammering, making lies up about me and talking everything, and I called them out on it. They're trying to tell me that I was being racist towards everybody, using racist slurs. I asked every single person that, there that, what was I saying that was racist or nothing? Because if I'm being that way, I will tell you, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. Turns out people were lying behind my back trying to run me out the door. Till finally one day I had enough and I said, y'all can just kiss my rear end. And then the word got back to the district manager. That's why they fired me. Oh, also they also wrote me up because Danger could vouch. Whenever I would do it was a closing manager, I was the kind of guy, I got out later than everybody. Because when I clean behind the machine, under the machine, top of the machine. Water can go there, trash can go there. Trash can go there, bugs can go there. My philosophy. So they wrote me up for getting out late. And I told them, I've been doing this for like 3 years now. If there's a better way to do it, get out your factory, please let me know. And because I want to be sure everything's done right. Because when the next morning comes in, I don't want nobody to say, John left this or that and the other. I don't want to hear those words. I want to hear it's a good close, and that's it. Well, I took my copy of the write-up, I just followed it up and threw it in the trash can as I was walking out the door. And they put that in why they fired me.
Okay,
Sorry for going so long with you there.
that's okay. I learned a lot in your explanation. And in 2005, you got fired for losing your temper.
My question was there?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Am I allowed to swear to explain exactly what I said and what happened there?
That's not really necessary. No, sir. I think that's all the questions I have. You want to get your gun rights back also, right? That's the main thing so that you can go to work in corrections.
That's one of the many reasons, sir.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah. The already statement that you got, you said that you've been a crime victim in the last 17 years. 6 times. I want to be able to own a firearm again to protect myself or protect somebody I care about because my fists and feet can only do so much. I also want this off my record because I want to move to Texas, be closer with my lady friends and her daughter, to try to be a decent man toward them and be a corrections officer over there. Let me tell you something. If you've been a crime victim 6 times in 16 years, what's going on that puts you in that situation?
Well, where I live in that part of town of Alexandria, unfortunately, there's a situation where. Sorry, in that part of Alexandria, the crime rate has gotten bad. Like where I live on Duhan Lane, there'd be situations where I'd be walking home from work at night, especially around, because I didn't have a vehicle at the time. When you're walking home about 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, sometimes all the way up to 5 a.m., you might run into somebody. And one situation in 2007, guy punched me in the gut, come around the corner. I went down to my knees, had a gun to the back of my head, and told me to cough it up. Well, at the time I was homeless. I didn't have nothing. I had nothing to lose and everything to gain, so I kind of sort of went to town. Trying to keep it funny. I'm sorry. Second time there, a person caught me at gunpoint while I was walking home from work. Walking home from Five Guys, as a matter of fact. My first time calling in there, and I've been there 9 months. Guy riding by with his bicycle, jumps off, aims his gun at me, said, "Give me everything you got." Well, I just opened my. He was about from here to about where that pole is right yonder. I just opened my wallet up, showed him everything in it but receipts. Well, he just backed his way towards the holding the gun on me, got on his bike and took off. I couldn't run him down and catch him, because let's face it, I ain't a runner, I'll be working at that. And then the third and final time, I got, robbed at gunpoint. Guy caught me at the gas station just up the road from where I live, he walks around an ice machine, catches me right there, and he caught me slipping. And I wasn't being aware of my surroundings. But I sat there and I talked to the APD detective. We both looked at the security footage, and he straight up said, man, if you could have had at least a snub-nosed revolver on you, you could have defended yourself. You could have stopped that guy. There were so many opportunities. Because best case scenario, he sees the 38 on me or something, he takes off running like a scared rat. That's one thing I can hope for.
Your size is a big deterrent.
Sometimes.
You know, it really is. And let me get to your size, when we start talking about the crime, and I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it. But we do have in our law predominant aggressor, and that was considered the size of a man up against a woman, and that there are no weapons or anything like that. And in your statement, you said you got tired of having the snot beat out of you by your wife because she's kicking the daylights out of me, and I don't want this on the record for the rest of my life. I mean, I know big men that have to hold a woman back, and I know her come swinging and carrying things and throwing things and stuff. And then, yeah, that's when you have to say, look, I'm getting out of this. I'm sick of it, and no more words. But it looks like things tend to go to the next step with you. So that's all I have to say about this.
All
I'm
right.
finished.
Any other questions? I don't see any other questions. I think we're ready to vote, Mr. Craven.
Okay, the only thing concerns me is your anger and your temper and that sort of thing. And so I think if you go 20 years without being arrested or anything, being hauled downtown or anything, I think that's pretty good. But I can't give you your firearm back. That's my vote, is to grant the pardon without restoration of firearm.
Mr. Freeman,
My vote is to grant with restoration of firearms.
Mr. Tillis,
I concur with Mr. Freeman.
I understand you want to be a corrections officer, but you better get that temper in check, because you beat an inmate up, you're going in a world of trouble, I'm telling you right now. So I'm going to grant, but not with restoration of firearms. I'll give you your pardon, but not restoration of firearms.
my vote today is to grant the pardon without restoration of firearms. So you've received 2 votes to grant with firearm restoration, 3 without. So the recommendation that will be made on your behalf to the governor is that you be granted a pardon without restoration of firearms. Good luck to you, sir.
How you doing, sir?
Could you introduce yourself, tell us your name and your current mailing address?
Name is Jeffery Gautreaux, 1703 Back Avenue, Louisiana.
All right, Mr. Gautreaux, good morning. You're here this morning seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms. You were sentenced in the 17th Judicial District of Lafourche Parish in July of 2008. False representation of a controlled dangerous substance, possession of a non-narcotic. You received a 5-year sentence that was suspended. You were placed on 5 years probation. Is that information correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Gautreaux, tell us why you're seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms.
Okay, so this is another thing that was put behind me in the past. I do a lot of recovery groups for the last probably 7 years now. And it's just one more thing to add to just to get rid of the past from behind. And now I started drugs and alcohol early on in my life, so I kind of didn't get the things like hunting and doing those things that now music, I'm just starting to get into all those things. I have three little girls, they kind of interested in it too, so just like I like to give them what I didn't have. Just I'm just getting into it. They want to start coming with it too. So. Awesome.
All right, Mr. Gautreaux, your case has been assigned to Mr. Prater. Would you answer his questions, please, sir?
Good morning, sir. You were arrested in 2008, I think it was, for possession of legend drugs, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me about that. What kind of drugs was it and how were you getting it?
Okay, so that was muscle relaxers. I was just kind of getting on the street. At that point in my life, I was really going downhill. I started early on, 12, 13. And at that point in my life, I was just any kind of drug. I was just trying to escape life. And that's what it was some muscle relaxers.
And were you writing your own scripts or something?
No, so I was just getting them on the streets.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it wasn't illegal drugs. That's why they called it legend drugs. And you told
Well,
it.
at that time, it is illegal when you don't have a prescription.
Right.
That's what it was.
But
It just wasn't really harder drugs. It's
right,
not
wasn't like LSD or something.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. And then it shows that you relapsed. 2008 to 2010, you were in drug court, you were going through everything, and you relapsed in 2012. What?
Yeah, so I had a pretty bad situation. My sister and 2 kids. Just this random guy broke in their apartment, raped and murdered them. I was just starting to slowly get out of AA and stuff like that because I had graduated drug court. I was still clean and sober, but I wasn't like involved as much as I should have been. And I just didn't know what to do at that point in my life, so I knew I fell back on the drugs real bad. And instead of going to what I knew with AA. So
Okay, so what's changed now? How do we know if we grant you a pardon, especially a pardon with gun rights? You've been clean and sober for how many years?
7, little 7.
For 7 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I missed something on my timeline. I was hoping it was since 2012.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I didn't know the Lord at the time. This time different. Before with AA, I had to stay with AA and all. I love AA, but this time is different. Lord, it's a different deliverance. It's not just in the program doing great. For me, it was just 100% deliverance. I'm still in the program now. I'm big into the program right now. About 8 years. It took a little while the first year until it really got delivered. But since then, it's just 100% delivered. All of that, anxiety, depression, all of those things. It's not just like 100%. Just God in my life.
Well, it's not, I understand, it's not hard to believe, but okay. All right, I'm prepared to vote.
Any other questions? All right, I think we're ready to vote. Mr. Gautreaux, Mr. Prater will be voting first.
I want to reward you for your good behavior since and working so hard. I know it's difficult. I do. I know it's very, very difficult, and I'm proud of you for coming as far as you have come. My vote is that we grant you your pardon. It's only been 7 years. On your federal firearms form, there's a question there about illegal drugs and about illegal use of drugs and that sort of thing. And if you're addicted to drugs, I think that you're always addicted to drugs, so nobody could really get one according to the firearms form. But I say all that to make a long story short, pardon without restoration of firearms.
Mr. Freeman,
I concur.
Mr. Tillis,
Pardon with restoration of firearms.
Ms. Stapleton.
I concur with Mr. Prater and wish you well.
And my vote also is the pardon without restoration of firearms at this time. So you've got a unanimous vote for the pardon, but we're going to make the recommendation to pardon without restoration of firearms. You can apply, if that's approved by the governor, you can reapply at a later date to have the restoration. Good luck to you, sir.
Give us 10 years.
Yeah, we really want
Yeah.
10 years of sobriety before we give you a gun. Thank you, sir.
All right, good morning. The pardon board is reconvening. We are now at Dixon Correctional Institute. It's 9:46 a.m. on March 24th, 2025. Is DCI on with us?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, with the staff at DCI, please introduce yourself for the record.
Assistant Warden Jason Allen. Donald Cavalier, classification man.
Jamie DeBall, mental health.
All right, thank you. And we have Mr. Jenkins.
That's mine.
Morning, Mr. Jenkins. Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Donald Jenkins, 118753.
All right, Mr. Jenkins, you submitted an application for a commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in September 1987 to a life sentence for first-degree murder. You were convicted in the 23rd Judicial District, Assumption Parish. Before we get started, Mr. Jenkins, I want to acknowledge the folks. We have some folks here with us in Baton Rouge who are here in support. Keisha Johnson, Tracy Johnson, your nieces, and Keisha will be speaking on your behalf at the appropriate time. We'll ask her to do so. First, Mr. Jenkins, tell us, before we get started on our interview, tell us, sir, why are you in prison? What did you do, and why are you seeking a commutation of your sentence?
Like I said, I'm in prison for first-degree murder, and I'm seeking pardon commutation because my health is failing, and I want to try to get out there with my family, for the rest of my time I got left.
All right, so Warden Allen, is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Jenkins?
Yes, ma'am. He's completed several of the programs here at DCI and been through. He's a member of the JCs and also a Pride member.
Okay, good. Thank you. Before us, Mr. Tillis has been assigned your case, Mr. Jenkins, but before I turn it over to Mr. Tillis, we'd like to hear from your niece, Ms. Keisha Johnson. Would you step up to the podium and tell us what you'd like us to know? Yes, please.
Well, good morning, to the board. I'm Donald Jenkins, Minnie, one of his nieces, and I would just like to say on his behalf, sorry about the situation that happened to the family, but we would like to see him get paroled, so he can live out the rest of his life with his family. We are very, very big family. We are very supportive to him. If he get paroled, he will be housing at my home, which I have very positive surroundings. Like he said, his health is declining. My sister will be there with me to help him with his health. I don't think he poses any threat to society or anyone else. We love him very much, and he always have been very supportive to us. He's a patient and very positive man. He's played a big role model in my life, in my sister's life, all my cousin's life, my male cousin's life. And we just like to see him paroled to today if possible. And thank you guys for your time, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Mr. Jenkins, would you answer any questions Mr. Tillis has?
Good morning, Mr. Jenkins.
Morning.
At the time that this crime was committed, were you doing drugs?
Yes, I was smoking marijuana.
That's all?
That's about it, yes, sir.
Okay. I noticed the warden said you had some classes that you took. Which ones affected you the most?
I think the case for rage, which really affected me the most.
What did you get out of that?
It taught me how to, if I hold any, get mad at anybody, to try to, way to try to hold it down and and just try not to hold any grudges against anyone.
I see. I have no more questions.
Any other questions?
What is your health problems?
Presently I'm on dialysis, seizures, uh, heart problems,
And how old are you?
69.
And how much time have you served?
I've been in prison since 87.
All right, I have no other
Okay.
questions.
Good morning, sir. I'm reading from the district attorney. We got a letter of opposition from him. I'm not gonna read the whole letter, but that, the victim was an off-hour security guard at Baker Tubular Service in Louisiana. And you were convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without benefit of parole, probation, and suspension of sentence in 87. And then it's been, I guess, commutated or something. I don't know. But the crime for the victim was that she was beat, raped, and then shot in the head, ending her life. And you've done some good things since 1987, no doubt. And I know that you've tried to get your life in that direction. But her final hours was to be brutally raped and beaten, killed. She didn't do anything to deserve that. So the good deeds that you do after, that's going to help you in life, but it doesn't negate the crime, to me. So that's all I have to say.
Mr. Jenkins, we talked about your classes, living in balance, cage your rage. Have you ever asked to take sex offender treatment?
No, ma'am.
Why is that?
What they did, the rape charge was non-pros.
Well, that doesn't mean it didn't happen. For your information, as has been mentioned, there's very strong law enforcement opposition. There's opposition from the district attorney's office, and there's opposition from some members of the victim's family. Very strong opposition. I don't see any other questions. I believe we are prepared to vote. Mr. Tillis.
My vote is to deny because of law enforcement opposition.
Mrs. Stapleton.
I concur with Mr. Tillis and then add victim opposition also.
Mr. Prater.
I concur.
Mr. Freeman.
I concur.
And my vote also is the same. Mr. Jenkins, absent the sex offender treatment and the opposition that's been expressed here today. Today, sir, your application for clemency has been denied.
My head, girl, my head was thin up last night. Looked like it didn't feel good. Said he can make it home.
All right, the pardon board is reconvening. We are now at Louisiana State Penitentiary. It's Monday, March 24th, 2025. It's 9 a.m. Excuse me, it's 10:01 a.m. Would the staff at Angola please introduce yourself for the record?
Darrell Manoy, I'm the warden.
Rochelle Ambo, deputy warden.
Reginald Admiral, classification.
Carmen Shipley, offender records.
All right, thank you. And I think our first case there is Mr. Branch. Mr. Branch, good morning.
I'm talking to you.
Morning.
Good morning, sir. Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
I can't.
Name and DOC number.
What she say?
Your name, your DOC
Tell
number.
her what your name is and your DOC number.
My name is Eric Branch. 65973.
All right, Mr. Branch, you're here before the pardon board seeking a commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in 1967 to a life sentence for a first-degree rape conviction in East Baton Rouge Parish. Do you know, is that information correct, sir?
Is it correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you hear what I said?
What was it?
She said, hear what she said. Are you hearing what she's saying?
I hear a little bit what she say.
Yeah, a little bit.
She told you what your conviction was. You was convicted in 67, I believe, for aggravated rape,
First degree rape.
first degree rape.
Is that correct?
I,
Yes or no? Is that correct?
I,
Were you convicted for first degree rape in 1967?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate the help. Let me just, for those who are listening and participating today, I want to acknowledge those who are here on Zoom. We have the Parole Project, Mr. Kerry Myers, Lisa Glasper, Mr. Branch's daughter, and here with us in Baton Rouge, we have Mr. Robert Glasper, and at the appropriate time, we'll call on those folks to speak if they choose to do so. So, Mr. Branch, do you know why you're in prison?
Yes,
Do you know why you're in prison?
yes, ma'am.
You want to tell us why you're in prison?
Can you
Tell
tell
them
them
what you
why,
did.
tell them what you did?
Tell them what you did to go to prison.
Answer,
Tell them what you did to be in prison.
it's a rape marriage.
Okay. How long you been? How long you been in jail?
How long have you been in Angola?
I've been in Angola since, I've been in Angola since 67, I believe.
Yes, sir. That's what I got. So, Warden Benoit or Warden Ambo, what can y'all tell us about Mr. Branch?
We could tell you that Mr. Branch is a minimum C. He's assigned to Bear 1. He actually worked as a janitor or cleaner whenever he can. He has a total of 29 DB reports, with his last one being April 24, 2006 for Rule 4. He has completed sex offender treatment. He also completed auto mechanics in 1980. He did 100 hours pre-release and his tire is low. He is assigned to one of our nursing dorms, nursing, to get help from nursing aides and stuff like that. So he has trouble, and he's in a wheelchair. He has trouble with things.
Okay, well, let's, before we start our line of questioning, we'll hear from those who want to speak. Mr. Myers with the Parole Project.
Good morning, Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project, here to let the board know that we're here to support Mr. Branch. He is a client of Parole Project. Should this board give him a recommendation, Parole Project would provide him the transitional support he needs, and we are prepared, if necessary, to provide him long-term support. Mr. Branch has been incarcerated for 57 years. He is 85 years old. He would be classified as he is classified as a 10-6 lifer. He is not parole eligible, however, because he went to trial and did not take a plea bargain. That's why he's here in front of this board today. So we just want to let the board know that we are here to provide Mr. Branch the support and services he needs.
Okay, good, thank you. And Miss Lisa Glasper?
Man,
What kind of sickness do you have?
I understand. I can't understand you.
Miss Lisa? Is there something you want to say?
On Saturday, I guess he called him on Saturday. He after lunch he fell out and they took him to the treatment center. So I don't know if it's any medication that's stopping him from hearing or talking clearly.
Okay.
But
Well, what would you like us to know about him?
He's a very kind, understanding man. I don't know too much about my father because at the age of 2 weeks, he got incarcerated. So I would like to see if they'll give him a chance to come home. I visit him since I've been 5 years old. My mother is deceased now.
Well, he's lucky to have your support.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for speaking with us today. We have here Mr. Robert Glasper. Mr. Glasper, is there anything you'd like to say?
I thank you all. You know. But they don't. Yeah, it's reason. I was like, I was born 1960. So, people. So, I know. For oh yeah, a white 60 pound. Remember, Bishop Bolts pick up Saturday morning. You're going to bump. Man, I understand what you did with problem. You shot big business. It's like they have a home. It's like I told you on the start. Not but he is to me a real father. He all I know. You know, and he, so what I see him that it don't look like it's him. It don't. This ain't sounding right. Man, but y'all allow him to come home. It just, I was in prison. Got out in 2005. I've been home ever since. I've been on parole, probation. You know, I ain't been interacting with the police. I support the police. All the soldiers, bag, blue. They know the drugs, cancer. I do all these things. I find myself talking to people. Go to my nurse's home and talk to the sick. I don't know what's going on with my illness. I'm just doing things that I wasn't accustomed to doing. I just wasn't accustomed. You know, I was raised up wrong, you know, by it. But I see what got to be God, which is about how I fall, you know, and I prayed and prayed. That's all alone. And he been on my mind heavy. Now I would love to see him home. I would love to see him. And y'all allowed to come on.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Glasper. We appreciate you speaking with us this morning.
Mr. Dawson, we have Dr. Cleveland here if y'all would like to ask him anything about his condition.
Yes, thank you, Warden Benoit. Dr. Cleveland, can you tell us a little bit about Mr. Branch?
Mr. Branch is 85 years old. He does suffer from some of the problems that men that old get with forgetfulness and loses his train of thought. He does know his name. He knows how old he is. He knows his DOC number. But he requires quite a bit of not really supervision, but direction. You have to give him some direction. He recently was diagnosed with a pretty bad urinary tract infection. The cultures are still pending. We have him on IV antibiotics at this time, and he lives in nursing unit 1.
So he lives at the treatment center.
He's right. He lives with us right now. Now he does normally live at Camp C at Bear 1, and which is not a bad place for him either. But right now he's requiring IV antibiotics, so he's staying with us.
Well, thank you, Dr. Cleveland. Mr. Branch's case was assigned to Mr. Prater. Mr. Prater?
Yes, sir, Mr. Branch. I'll talk slow and hopefully you can understand what I'm saying. And right there, just talking. I've reviewed the record here really, and I don't have any questions, but I need to hear you say something about something. Tell me about the crime, the little girls that you raped. Tell them about the crime and how you feel about the crime. That.
Well, they say that I picked up some children in a car and took them to a local place and had sex with one of them. and drove back, scared him back into town.
Did you do that?
I can't say I did that. I don't know if I did that or not. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say, I don't think I did that. I don't think I was guilty of that crime what they asked me about. I have good sense. I'm not crazy and thing. And it kept me in jail a long time.
Okay, that's all I got. I think that's as far as we're gonna get.
Any other questions?
Sure, okay. I know you can't remember, but I promise you this, your victims do. So just let me refresh your memory just for a second, because you might not remember it when you walk out. It was a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old little girl. It was a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old little girl. Can you hear me?
You hear what she's saying? She said it was a 10-year-old and 11-year-old little girls.
Okay.
Okay.
They were kidnapped by you and then raped. And then there was a little 12-year-old boy. He was also kidnapped. And you had a gun and a pitchfork, they said.
12-year-old boy too. A 12-year-old boy was kidnapped and raped.
No, he was not raped. The boy not raped. Just the two girls, little boy. So the three children were kidnapped, aggravated kidnapped.
Okay.
Yes. So that was what really happened. Then they dropped charges like they always do. But that's not the effect it had on those children because they identified you. They were your victims. And so the DA is opposed and the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office opposed, even considering your age, your lack of memory, and your medical condition, which you're getting good medical condition there, and you might not have such good medical condition outside of there. So I just wanted to bring up, we did have 3 little children that lived with the effects of that crime. Thank you.
Any other questions? I think we're ready to vote. Mr. Prater?
Yes, Mr. Branch, my vote is because of the severity of the crime, because of the fact you didn't admit it at the time, and you caused a trial, and you still don't remember if you did it or not. My vote to deny this request.
Mr. Freeman?
Due to strong victim opposition and law enforcement opposition, and your past criminal history is terrible. So my vote is also to deny.
Mr. Tillis?
I concur with Mr. Freeman.
Mrs. Stapleton?
I concur, Mr. Freeman.
And Mr. Branch, my vote today also is to deny based on the strong opposition to your application for clemency and your past criminal record. So today, Mr. Branch's application for clemency has been denied. All right, we are ready for our next case, and that is Mr. Lambert. Good morning, Mr. Lambert. Is that you? I think y'all are still on mute.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Mr. Lambert, would you tell us your name and DOC number, please?
David Lambert, 342498.
Mr. Lambert, and you have there with you your mother, Miss Nadine Lambert, and she wants to speak on your behalf. We'll ask her at the appropriate time to do so. And on Zoom, we have the Parole Project, Mr. Myers. Also here today with us in Baton Rouge in opposition, we have Jamie Daigle and Ryan Cook. By Zoom in opposition, Sissy Amon, Linda Temple, Ryan Cook, and Vincent Amon. And for those who've indicated they'd like to speak, Ornoni, I'm sorry, it's misspelled.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Ornoni, I apologize. Mr. Lambert, you're here today before the pardon board. You're seeking a commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in June of 1994 in Tangipahoa Parish for 2 counts of first-degree murder. You are serving a life sentence. Is that information correct, Mr. Lambert?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Lambert, would you tell us what happened? What did you do to, why are you in jail?
I killed 2 people that morning.
Tell us about it.
My wife and her friend, we got into an argument. They come to the house and left and come back, and bad things happen.
All right. Well, why do you think you're deserving of a commutation of your sentence?
Well, I ain't the same man I was back then 30-something years ago.
All right, let me acknowledge, I just got handed a sheet. We have some other folks, Tamika White, Alexis Taylor, Michelle Spax, and Tatlin Costa, who are also participating today in opposition.
And also I would like to note that Miss Linda would have been here, but due to unforeseen reasons, she's just watching on Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
Circumstance.
So Mr. Lambert, why do you, tell us a little bit more. You say you're a different person. Why do you think you deserve a commutation of your sentence?
Well, I done took my classes, and I think I've done wrong, and I asked the victim family to forgive me. I asked the good Lord to forgive me, and I'm a better man, and the classes helped me on everything.
Yeah, glad to hear that. Well, let me ask the warden there. Warden, what can you tell us about Mr. Lambert?
Mr. Lambert is a minimum A offender trustee. He's assigned to Camp FD1 and he works at tractor repair. He had a total of 29 DB reports, last being September 15th of 2004. He has participated in 100-hour pre-release, Thank You for a Change, victim awareness, and victim awareness letter training. He also did anger management, substance abuse, and his tiger is low.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to hear from the Parole Project now, Mr. Myers.
Good morning, Kerry Myers, Louisiana Parole Project. Here to let the board know that Mr. Lambert is our client. Should this board see fit to grant him a recommendation today and he become release or parole eligible, Parole Project will provide transitional support. This is based on his disciplinary record, his work record, the comments from the institution, and his overall conduct since he's been incarcerated.
Right, thank you. And let's hear from Mr. Lambert's mother, Miss Nadine Lambert. Ma'am, what would you like us to know about your son? Miss Nadine?
Yes.
What would you like us to know about your son?
Well, I've been through all this with him. I've visited him just about every 2 weeks, so I know every month over here, and I've seen a lot of changes in him. And I know that he's a changed person. And he will do great in society. He's not the same man, He's a better person. He's learned his lesson, and he knows he has to respect the law, even if he did something happened in his mind when all this took place. He was a young person trying to survive, raise a child. And he didn't have too much cooperation from his wife. God forgive me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning, and he's lucky to have your support for all these years. Before we move to our interview, Mr. Lambert, we're going to hear from the opposition. Could we first hear from Sissy Armoni?
Good morning.
Fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Pauline Sissy Arnone. I am Mary Arnone's sister. Living without her has been heartbreaking beyond my words can express. As for David Lambert is concerned, let me express my concerns. To my understanding, David is asking for a pardon at this hearing today. I do understand the rehabilitation is a good goal of justice system, but we must acknowledge the severity of David Lambert's actions and the damage that he has caused. We must be assured that David will no longer be a danger to my family or to anyone upon his release. From my personal point of view, knowing David in the past, and maybe still is, a very pure, evil man. I do understand that people can change for the better and they can also change for the worse. David has been surrounded all these years with the worst of the worst criminals, just like himself. And we all know there is a very small percentage that only a few ever changes. Knowing how he was or still in the past is a possibility, and David being in that environment for so long, he will not be able to cope with today's society. It's not the same world as it was all those years ago. I really don't think he can adjust in today's world, and that makes me extremely worried that would he do the same as he done before and cause harm to my family or anyone's family. I would like to know who would be responsible if something so horrific happened once again if he was released. What would he have to lose? There's no telling what goes on in the mind of a murderer until the unthinkable happens. I beg you, let's not take that chance. He took the life of my beautiful sister and her beautiful best friend. They would never, ever see their children or grandchildren grow, and we miss them dearly. A lot of people says I shouldn't write this, but I am. The Bible states a life for a life. So after murder, not one, but two innocent women, why would anyone consider a little over 30 years would be sufficient enough to release anyone? Justice would be letting him stay right where he is and right where he belongs. He does not deserve to live the rest of his days as far as a man knowing that he took the lives of others and possibility of doing it again. Once again, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words, and God bless you all.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your words.
Thank you.
We have Jamie. Go ahead. Yes, please.
I'm Jamie Dable. I am the daughter of Rebecca Abair, the woman he made a conscious decision to murder that day along with his wife. He didn't just take 2 lives, he ruined hundreds of lives when he took a mother from their children. I've grown up without a mom, watching everyone have a mom. I have 4 beautiful children who will never see my mom. I have a husband who will never meet my mom. I went through proms, dances, marriages, divorces, deaths. You name it, I went through it without a mom because he made the conscious decision that he made to take a life. So what in this world would give him the right to think it's okay for him to be let out to walk this earth and enjoy the fresh air, enjoy his family, when he put 2 people in the ground who will never be able to enjoy the families they have? He took 2 lives and ruined hundreds. He doesn't deserve to walk that life. He deserves to be where he's at, serving the sentences he serves. Other than that, he might be reformed. He might have a better life, but he's where he's at. He needs to be. It's not fair. Why should a murderer walk free when 2 innocent women are in the ground and their families are without them? So.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Lambert, your case was assigned to Mr. Tillis. Would you answer any questions?
Good morning, Mr. Lambert. How are you?
Pretty good.
You say you and your wife got in an argument. I read your case and went through it. Were you on drugs at the time?
No, sir.
What was the argument about?
About her wanting to leave and I didn't want her to leave.
Okay. I have no more questions.
All right, Ms. Stapleton?
You served how many years so far? How many years did you serve, sir?
Well, I served 30 in Angola, but I've been down 32.
Okay. All right. In addition to what Jamie said, she also wrote a letter. She had some comments. I'm not gonna read them all, but a few things do stick out. She said her grandparents provided a wonderful, good life for her. But she has few memories of her mother and has no doubt that she would have been a wonderful mother and grandmother had she been given that opportunity. She didn't get to say that just then. And then there's another comment that the person is opposed, and he said he took 2 mothers' lives when he killed these women, and those children were forced to grow up without their mothers. It must be her sister. This loss was especially hard on his niece, Jamie, this man. He advised that in his opinion, the offender remain incarcerated for the original sentence, which is life. And this is the brother, and he said this little bit was okay to read. He advised that he was devastated by the loss of his baby sister. They were closest in age and also close emotionally growing up. So just like she said, and just like you learn when you take a crime victims class, and they talk about the ripple effect. And then of course, you think about this going out, but actually a crime victim, sometimes it's so devastating because even generations are wiped away. And generations of love and understanding and memory, you take that away from people very, very close to the crime. That's all I have to say. Oh, I did want to ask you, you said bad things happen. Is that what you said? When you opened up your statement, how did this happen? You said bad things happen. You were arguing. Bad things happen.
Yes, ma'am. When you kill somebody, it's bad.
Yeah, bad things happen. Okay. I just want to make sure I heard it right.
Mr. Freeman? Yes.
Okay. Mr. Lambert, were these the only 2 people that you intended to kill that day, or was there some others in the family you was gonna kill?
I wasn't intending to kill nobody. It just flipped out.
So you wasn't planning on killing your mother-in-law or your sister-in-law or anyone else?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Lambert, it was mentioned that you've taken some classes and particularly victim awareness and the victim accountability ladder. What did you get out of those 2 classes?
that I hurt, people that I hurt. I didn't realize how many people I hurt. And other people,
So did you write a victim accountability letter?
yes, ma'am, 2 of them.
Who did you write that to?
What you say?
Who did you write it to?
One with the Baton Rouge and one with the, I think.
Who were the victims?
Oh, the victims, Mary Ononi Lambert and Rebecca Abear Sullivan.
So you wrote letters to each of those families?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I don't have any other questions. I think the board's prepared to vote, Mr. Tillis.
ADA for the 21st JDC.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have them on my list. We have ADA on the line with us. Yes, Alexis Taylor. I'm sorry.
Good morning. Of course, the district attorney's office, we do stand opposed to any amendment of the sentence, parole, probation, what have you, him being released in any capacity. You know, what I would remind Mr. Lambert is one of the prescribed consequences of his action is the death penalty, which he has avoided. So he has walked away from this with his life, unlike the 2 victims' lives that he took. And what's been very interesting to hear too is his mother, who's there in support of him, to blame actually one of the victims. She said he had a wife who was not cooperative or was not supportive. That is a problem. And also included in the facts of this matter, the defendant actually fled the scene and discarded the firearm, which was later discovered next to the interstate. So he initially had no plans to face the music for what he had done. And, you know, like anything in life, with any sin that is committed by any of us on this line, right? While we may be sorry, while we may regret what we do, we still have to pay the price for the wrong that we do. So the state stands opposed to him being released. He actually did avoid the death penalty after taking the lives of 2 people, and he should remain incarcerated there in Angola. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Tillis.
Today, my vote is to deny due to strong opposition by the DA, victims, and the sheriff department.
Statement.
I concur with Mr. Tillis and the ADA. I think she spoke very eloquently just now about the severity of this crime and what you did escape, which was your keeping your own life.
Mr. Prater.
Deny.
Mr. Freeman.
I concur.
Mr. Lambert, my vote also is to deny based on the opposition that's been expressed here today. So today, sir, your application's been denied. Good luck to you.
I know. So I'm gonna make for it, and I know that this saying the record is 12 and 2 consecutive returns, but these sentences are
All right, good morning. Mr. Bolt, good morning.
Good morning.
Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
My name is Anthony Bolt. My DOC number is 279530.
All right, Mr. Bolt, you're here this morning seeking a commutation of your sentence. I see you have counsel there with you. Miss Erica Navalance.
Yes, ma'am.
You and your co-counsel, please introduce yourselves for the record.
Certainly. It's Erica Navalance and Claude Michael Como on behalf of Mr. Bolt.
And who will be, which of you will be making a presentation?
I will be, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right, and that's Mr. Como?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Let me just, before we get started, Mr. Bolt, let me just acknowledge that we have here in Baton Rouge a room full of people who are here in support, and those that will be speaking on your behalf are Adrian and Alvin Lee. Adrian Lee, I'm sorry if I've mispronounced it, your brother, and we'll call on them at the appropriate time to do so. We also have in opposition, a representative from the Caddo Parish Victim Assistance Coordinator's Office, the District Attorney's Office, Ms. Leona Fitzgerald, and at the appropriate time, we'll ask for her remarks. First, Mr. Bolt, you're seeking a commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in the First Judicial District, Caddo Parish, in July 1995. You received a life sentence for a second-degree murder conviction and 28.5-year sentence for attempted second-degree murder. Is that information correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Before we get started, Mr. Bolt, we'd like for you to tell us a little bit about why are you in jail? Why are you seeking a commutation of sentence, and why do you believe you are deserving of such?
Well, first of all, I would like to offer my deepest and sincerest apologies to the family of Mr. Paul Bryant. And my road to prison began at 14 years of age, ma'am. I joined one of the most violent, largest gangs in the nation at the time. And for a decade thereafter, I traveled the country distributing drugs and engaged in a culture of violence that shattered the peace and evoked fear in our communities. It all came to an end on March 13th, 1994 in Shreveport, Louisiana at the Clear Horizon apartment complex, wherein I was engaged in an argument that ultimately led to a fight. That fight led to multiple shootings. That shooting left Mr. Paul Bryant deceased, Mr. Johnny Jenkins wounded, and I myself shot, partially paralyzed, and fighting for my own life in intensive care unit at the Louisiana Medical University Hospital in Shreveport. 3 days later, I was discharged from the hospital with my entire abdomen lined with staples and confined to a wheelchair. And when I arrived at the prison, I was greeted by what I now describe as a wicked sense of admiration by dozens of gang members. And for the first time, the very first time in my life, after 10 years of gangbanging, I realized that something was seriously wrong with the life I had chosen. I was subsequently found guilty by a 10-2 jury verdict of second-degree murder and second-degree attempted murder, and sent to prison for the remainder of my natural life. And that is basically where my journey to redeem myself, to make amends, to atone for the trauma and pain I caused in the past began. But in all honesty, that road was not easy. That quest for redemption was not an easy journey. I faced many battles, emotional battles. I faced battles with forgiving myself. I faced physical battles. But over space and time, I began to find my footing, so to say, academically, educationally, legally. But I still knew that something was missing in my life. And it took a while, but I turned to God. And God began to show me things. My life began to change. I embraced God. And one of the things that God showed me was that I had a spiritual gift. And that spiritual gift is the innate ability to encourage and inspire people, even in a hopeless environment. I believe that I have a say with the young people, the younger generation. I have their ear. And as a result, I dedicated my life to mentoring and assisting. I'm a gang interventionist. I'm a gang preventionist. And that life led me to the Bible college, where I ultimately attained my degree. After obtaining my degree, I formulated a ministry called Ground Zero Ministries. That ministry is designed to assist and support inmates with emotional problems, spiritual problems, drug addictions, and things of that nature. And in doing those things, I realized that I could represent people just like I represented that gang. And I began to realize that, you know, with God at the head of your life, that all things are possible. Nothing is possible when God leads the charge. So today, I asked the board to grant me clemency, not for the sole sake of just being free, man, not for the sole sake of being free, but to allow me to be on that, to keep going down the road to redemption, to redeem myself, to make amends, you know, to strike a balance, to say, there are a lot of people dependent on me right now. In fact, the entire prison population right now is watching and seeing what's going to happen with me because of the things that I've done with them in the context of the prison. So I say that today I am redeemed. I will continue on that road to redemption. And if the board sees fit, I pray that you grant me clemency today so I can be a beacon of light in the community, so I can help stop some of the killings and violence that our communities are suffering from. I truly believe that I can be an antidote, that I have an authentic voice with young people, and I'm fearless. I am absolutely fearless. I have no fear to go into those communities that many people, and rightfully so, are afraid to go into. But I am fearless, and I will be doing that if you grant me clemency today. So today, I humbly pray and ask that you grant me clemency for those reasons. Thank you.
All right, you've given that a lot of thought, haven't you? Gordon, what can you tell us about Mr. Boult?
Well, it's kind of hard to talk behind me, but you know, Anthony's been here 30 years. He is an inmate leader amongst his peers. He's very respected. You know, he went through he has educated himself. He did get out of a gang, which was, you know, it's a bold step to denounce a gang once you're a gang member. That's a very bold step. Warden Ambo is going to kind of go through all the programs that he has completed since he's been here. But again, he is a leader in the right way. He is very respected by his peers.
Anthony Boult completed his GED. He also has an associate and a BA in Christian ministry. He participated in Malachi Dad's anger management, Inside Out Dad, and 100-hour pre-release. He's also a paralegal. He also participated in paralegal training, Teal Walker training, and he facilitates and mentors to the faith-based population here at Louisiana State Penitentiary. Mr. Bolton has been a proven leader to the inmate population by mentoring to those that come in and let them know to get on the right foot while they're here so that they can one day be able to present their case before y'all. So with that being said, I think Mr. Bolton has really been an inspiration here to the inmate population at Angola and deserve a second chance.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's hear from the folks who are here in support. First, the parole project, Mr. Myers.
Good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. We're here to let the board know that Mr. Boult is a client of Parole Project. Should this board grant his clemency today, Parole Project is prepared to assist Mr. Boult through his transition with the full complement of our programming and services. 30 years, obviously, 30 plus years is a significant amount of time served. And we know that Mr. Boult will need mentoring and case management that have changed over the last 30 plus years, social norms, financial management, and the things that we can assist Mr. Boult with through his transition based on his record, his education, his service to the population. We'd ask this board to grant his recommendation today.
Thank you. Here with us, we have Mr. Boult's brother, Mr. Lee. Would you step up to the podium, please? How do you pronounce your first name?
Adrian,
Adrian, okay. Go ahead, sir.
good morning. My name is Adrian Lee. I am the younger brother of Anthony BOULT. I have something I always try to go by. And that is I exercise the 3 B's. Be heard, be brief, and gone. I have known Anthony my whole life. And I've witnessed the beauty of change in him. I've witnessed his growth. I've witnessed all that he's accomplished. And I can honestly say he deserves no chance. He's been rehabilitated. Growing up, he was always that person that was able to motivate other people. He was always that person that stood up to a book. He was always that person that was ready to teach and ready to help. After my father lost his job and we went through a terrible divorce, things took a turn. Anthony turned to the streets. For a period of time, he went down that road. You know, but I can say now, over the past 30 years, he's transformed his life. He's the older brother. He's way smarter than me, as you see what he said there. You know, it's one of those things that he was always able to put a smile on your face or give you a life lesson. He's a part of me. I've traveled down this long road many years from Shreveport to Angola to visit him. And it's always good to visit with him. It's always sad when you leave because you feel like a part of you to be left. So around about 2014, one of the proudest accomplishments that we worked together on was starting the United Family Ministry, where we were able to help other people in the same situation, children who had loved ones, parents in Angola, and were unable to visit their parents. So what we did, we had the United Family Ministry, which Anthony founded, and me and my Uncle Alan were the supporters in getting everything rolling. And we would transport children from Northwest Louisiana to Angola for free to visit their parents that were incarcerated, loved ones that were incarcerated. And it was all Anthony's idea. It was all Anthony's planning, putting it together. We helped him facilitate. You know, and at the time, I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? He was doing such a great thing, things that people don't want to think about doing. And then one day he told me, I'm going to write a book. I said, you're going to write a book? He said, and the book is called The Beauty of Change, A Father and Son's Journey to Redemption. If you hadn't read it, it's a great read. And I worked alongside him on that book. And it really tells you everything. But in closing, I support him wholeheartedly for years. I always will support him. Anything I can do to support him, I will do. I love him. His Uncle Alan, his Aunt Bebe, his family, we all love him and support him. We do everything we can for him. And I just hope and pray that we all will give him another chance.
Thank you. And we also have Alvin here.
Good morning. He's just about put everything that I would say that I have written. He has spoken of it. But nevertheless, I'm going to utilize my 3 minutes to go ahead and give you the clerical aspect of it. My name is Alvin Lee. I'm resident of Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm a Christian, a registered voter, a law-abiding citizen. I've been asked to appear before this board to speak on behalf of my nephew and inmate, Anthony Norman BOULT to aid him in his efforts to obtain clemency and become eligible for parole hearings. I am aware of events in Anthony's past as a youth and as a young adult. I had occasion to speak with him regarding the gang lifestyle he had chosen, the probability of incarceration, death, or destruction of his life as he had known it. My concerns did not register positively with him during those conversations, and my nephew is now approaching 30 years as an inmate of the Angola State Prison. Anthony's life prison sentence has not been uneventful for his family that continues to support him and endure his sentence with him. As his family, we have become bound to him and have occasionally felt spiritually imprisoned with him. However, I am a strong believer that time can and will bring about the change in a person's life, not only a physical change, but mentally as well. As a family member who makes periodic visits to see Anthony, I readily recognize those physical and mental changes. Anthony delights us when we visit. He delights in informing us of his involvements and achievements. Among them is his enrollment in the seminary school, in which he graduated and received a bachelor's degree. Anthony talks about his love for the study of law in the prison library, being able to assist fellow inmates in understanding their rights under the law, and being able to advise fellow inmates on resources that may be available to them, and assisting them with the preparation of writs for seeking appeals. He has written and published a book titled The Beauty of Change. Anthony is also the founder and organizer of a nonprofit organization called United Family Ministries. This nonprofit organization was established by Anthony after hearing from other inmates from Northwest Louisiana who felt abandoned by family or only heard from them occasionally by phone or an occasional letter. Some inmates indicated that they had not had any physical contact with their family for years. Anthony organized United Family Ministries with the primary function of facilitating transportation to and from Angola State Prison at no charge to his patrons. With the help of his younger brother and myself, the organization became a reality. Monthly van service began in 2012 and continued until 2019, taking patrons to and from Angola State Prison and allowing friends and family to see their loved ones. Some had not seen loved ones in years. By all indication, Anthony has been an inspiration to all who have had an opportunity to get to know him, on the inside of the prison and outside of it. He now holds tight to his religious faith and believes he can do all things through Christ that strengthens him. At this moment, I am recalling the title of his published book, The Beauty of Change, where I am allowed to reflect on his past and our interactions. When I saw a rebellious teen and a defiant young man. However, the day I stand before you, after nearly 30 years of watching Anthony throughout his incarceration, I'm willing and able to say he now possesses and has mastered the beauty of change. It is my hopes and my prayer that you would consider his request for clemency and allow him to participate in the Louisiana State pardoning and parole process. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. All right, Mr. Como, we'd like to hear your presentation.
Yes, ma'am. I think we do have one more speaker here at Angola to speak on his behalf, Mr. Tyrone Glover.
Yeah, I don't have him as listed as speaking, but it's my understanding he's representing Congressman Higgins. Mr. Glover, okay, go ahead, sir. We'd like to hear your brief statements.
Yes, ma'am, and very brief. Time has been well spent. First, giving honor to God, this honorable board, warden and staff, and Minister Anthony. He's been sent to the Department of Correction to be corrected. He sits at the round table with us, and those group of men, they really calm the prison down. So I stand here on behalf of the round table and our Honorable Clay Higgins, Congressman. And if you give Anthony a second chance, I told him his time isn't up, because I will hold him to that, and I will take him into communities where I go, and will continue to help to stop these young people from committing these crimes and coming to prison. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Como?
Yes, ma'am. I met Anthony Boult while in the process of filing his post-conviction relief application for his non-unanimous jury verdict. In my time getting to know him, he's been an amazing example of resilience, a demonstrated community leader, and a selfless advocate for others. For starters, Anthony has a stellar conduct record. In the last 15 years, he's only had 4 write-ups. And as Warden Vanoy has stated, he's built up a lot of trust in the prison here. Further, his Tiger score indicates an extremely low risk of recidivism. And this record's backed up by the amount of rehabilitative and educational programming Anthony has taken advantage of. He's completed 100 hours of pre-release, Inside Out Dad program, Finding Higher Ground, anger management training, and more. And he spent much of his time in incarceration doing faith-based practice and education. Anthony attended the New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary and spent 4 years educating himself on how to be a minister who could be of service to others. Anthony says that this is his spiritual calling, to provide compassionate support for his fellow man, and it's really hard to argue with him. In the time he's been incarcerated, he's helped countless individuals go through some of the hardest times of their lives. The prisons recognize Anthony's kindness and entrusts him with the job of delivering death messages, in which he delivers news to other incarcerated individuals that someone they love has passed away. This is obviously an emotionally fraught and difficult moment, and Anthony meets it by giving comfort, aid, and spiritual support to a grieving person. Anthony's always looking for ways to help others. As you've heard in talking to other incarcerated men, Anthony realized that many men were unable to see their family and loved ones because the travel was impossible for them. And Anthony took the initiative and created United Family Ministries, a service that would transport family to see their loved ones in prison free of charge. He describes this endeavor in joyful terms, and seeing the smiles of children who were given the opportunity to visit their fathers is still a memory that fills him with pride. And this work earned Anthony a humanitarian award from the Episcopal Church of Transfiguration. Nowadays, he puts his theology degree into practice by providing spiritual and emotional counsel wherever the need arises. Anthony has started Ground Zero Ministries. This ministry work aims to meet people where they are, whether that be out in the yard or in the dorm. Make sure people have someone that can provide counseling to them at any time. And oftentimes this means that being there for those that are at rock bottom and helping them find the strength to move forward. As part of his ministry, Anthony works to make sure that people don't fall into the same trappings that he once did, and both preventing people being affiliated with gangs and helping those who already are escape that life. Anthony is also a natural born leader. He works as a substitute counsel where he helps provide legal counsel to other incarcerated individuals. In this role, Anthony uses his counseling skills as well as his legal education in order to be an advocate for those who need it the most. He's also the co-chairman and legal director for the 10-2 Committee for the 10-2 Committee for Equal Justice, where his leadership has led those involved with both state and national legislatures to listen in. I've had the privilege of attending meetings in which Anthony spoke to a full room of other incarcerated individuals, and I could see how he inspired hope and encouragement to everyone in the audience. If this board were to commute Anthony's sentence and eventually grant him parole, Anthony has a reentry plan that includes the Louisiana Parole Project and will be part of their comprehensive reentry program. He's going to be provided with essential reentry services, including courses that will help ease him back into society. In the long term, Anthony has secured employment with Rich Family Ministries. It's a nonprofit dedicated to changing lives and laws by fostering love. At Rich Family Ministries, Anthony's going to be able to provide, continue his ministry training and provide counseling and advocacy work in an environment that gives him financial and community stability. In conclusion, Anthony Boult has made extraordinary use of his 3 decades of incarceration. He's used every moment to better himself and to build community, as you can see by the people that braved really bad weather to get here to be in support of him and in Baton Rouge. And he enriches the lives of as many people as possible. He plans to continue to do so in larger society if this board sees fit, and we pray that this board does. I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any particular questions. At this time, we'll hear from the opposition from the DA's office. Ms. Fitzgerald.
Good morning. I'm Leanne Fitzgerald. I'm the Director of Victim Assistance for the Caddo Parish DA's office. I'm on today to oppose. This was a killing of a human being and an attempted murder of another human being, and we believe that the life sentence was appropriate. But I'm also a little perplexed. It seems like we're putting the cart before the horse here, because I haven't heard anything about Mr. Boult's filings and his continued PCR applications. I'm not sure if the board is aware that he is still asserting innocence in his appeals. I'm holding here the latest round of his appeals that were filed in October. Let's see. Well, it was originally filed in our district court in December of 2022, and our judge, Ramona Emanuel, denied this application in November of 24, just this past November. And Mr. Boult's camp took a writ to our Second Circuit, which was denied on March the 6th of 2025, which was just a few weeks ago. So technically, he is still within his time frame if he's going to appeal that decision to the Louisiana Supreme Court, which he has done in the past, appealed them all the way to the Louisiana Supreme Court. So I believe April 5th would be when his time limitations are up on that. So I really don't even understand. I don't know if the board is aware of this or not, but I really don't see how we could make a decision until we see if or where he's going to go before April the 5th. I'm confused because if you read his clemency investigation, he makes statements like, let's see, sorry, I have a lot of notes here. He basically admits that he had a gun and that he fired it into the air. And that was what he said on June 1st, 23, for his pre-clemency investigation. I drew my weapon and fired several shots into the air. And then he said, I take full responsibility for my actions that day. I see now that I caused much destruction in my community. But if you read directly from the filings of Ms. Navalance, this was on January 27th of 2025. She says Anthony Boult is in prison for a murder, an attempted murder he did not commit. She also states that when police got to the scene just 2 or 3 minutes after the shooting, there was no gun on or near Mr. Boult, and none was found anywhere on the scene. So, is he remorseful and he's asking for clemency because he's remorseful and he's accepted responsibility, or is he in prison for a crime that he did not commit? That's the problem that I have reconciling all of that. And I don't think it's appropriate to even make a decision right now unless it's a flat out denial, because as I said, he's still asserting actual claims of innocence in his appeals. So that's my request to the board, to deny or at least postpone. Thank you.
The case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman. So Mr. Boult, would you answer any questions Mr. Freeman has?
I got the same question the DA got. I mean, I read this thing up and down, and you're still not taking full responsibility. I want to know from you, did you shoot that man and that security guard?
The events that took place that night, sir, wherein me and Mr. Paul Bryant had a physical altercation. Just as I wrote in the petition, I didn't testify in my trial, sir. So the things and facts that's presented in the petition are filed by attorneys. But on that night, me and Mr. Paul Bryant had a physical altercation. And Robert Phillips, just as I stated in my clemency petition, sir, fired the first 2 to 3 shots after me and Mr. Paul Bryant was broken up. One security officer grabbed me, and it evoked my friends who were gang members at the time to start shooting. Robert Phillips shot the first 2 to 3 shots, sir. I ducked, I drew my weapon, and when I came back up, 2 security officers were firing at me. I fired 2 to 3 shots back in the vicinity of the security officers. But Mr. Paul Bryant and Mr. Johnny Jenkins were already on the ground hit. Mr. Jenkins fired at me from the ground, and Mr. Mark Wilson fired at me from the corner. I had a gun that night. I fired those shots, and I'm not trying to absolve myself. I participated in this crime. I am remorseful with this crime. I'm sorry that Mr. Bryant lost his life. The only reason we were around that side of the complex was because we heard a little girl screaming, sir. When we went around the building, that little girl was screaming because there was a domestic dispute between Mr. Bryant and his wife. Mr. Bryant became enraged, and he and I and some of the other members in the crowd got into a verbal altercation that led to a physical altercation between me and him. So I participated in this crime. I fired a weapon that night, but the evidence that we're talking about, that my attorneys are talking about, was never presented to a jury, sir. I'm not saying that I'm actually innocent of this crime, sir, but what I am saying is that I'm factually innocent of this crime, meaning that there is evidence, witnesses, police reports, and lab reports which indicate that Robert Phillips did fire that gun that night that were not presented to a jury, sir. And that is all I'm saying. I did not testify. So the things that said in these petitions did not come directly from me. That petition is the first time that I've ever spoke about this matter because my attorney, Mr. Alan Golden, advised me erroneously not to testify. I begged him to allow me to testify. I was young at the time, and I did not know that I had the right to testify. I went with his position, and I did not testify. And it cost me, I believe to this day, sir, that I did not have the opportunity to tell my side of the story what happened that night. But I say that, I'm not trying to absolve myself. I made mistakes my entire life, sir. I made mistakes throughout my life. I destroyed communities.
All of that, I got you. I understand everything you're saying. I just wanted to know, and you've cleared it up in my mind about exactly, why what you had stated that you had no part in it. So, okay, let me ask you this. You're a 4th felony offender, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you had a gun on you. While you had a gun on you, you're a 4th felony offender. I mean, I know you're in a gang, but I mean, that doesn't absolve you of crimes. And I mean, you had the gun on you. So you had already committed a crime that night when you walked up because you had a gun in your pocket, correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct, sir.
Okay. And I terribly want to commend you on your prison record. If we were looking just at your prison record, it'd be a slam dunk. No doubt. There hadn't been a better prison record given of what you've done, but that's not all we have to look at. We have to look at all the circumstances surrounding the event. So my other question is, you got your Bible study. You were a tier walker, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to commend you on that. I know that's a hard job. I see you had 39 disciplinary. All of them were old except for one. What was your contraband in 2020?
That was a piece of a marijuana joint, sir, that they found in a book on a GI day in either my property or the person that slept above me property. But by me being in the bottom bunk, it was considered my property and my domain. So I didn't question it. They gave me the report and I pled guilty and I accepted the responsibility for it, sir.
Okay. Looking at your criminal record, criminal history, and I know that's a long time ago when you were gangbanging, but it's not good. I mean, it's not even close to good. You pled guilty to an aggravated assault, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of marijuana. But then you had a conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. What was that about?
That was about a gang incident that took place, sir, which Mr. Prater is aware of at this time in Shreveport, Louisiana, sir, with another gang. That gang was the Hoover Crips, which was an enemy of the gang that I belonged to, sir. 3-4 nights prior to, that specific gang had killed a person from our gang.
I understand.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. And then you had the trafficking and illegal in Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
That was selling drugs in Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
And how did you escape from Oklahoma?
Well, it wasn't an actual, I didn't break out of anything. I was actually at a work release, sir, and I was on pass. I was already just out in society, and I met a young lady, sir. And I met that young lady, and I let the time elapse for me to return to the facility, and I panicked. I overran the time where I was supposed to return to the facility, and I panicked.
All right. Tell me what class that you took that you liked the most. What was your best class that you take?
Hands down, sir, that would be my graduation from the seminary. Because the seminary have changed my life. It taught me organizational skills. It gave me a spiritual foundation, and it taught me how to organize, how to do a lot of the things that I do now. I learned that in the Bible college, and I learned most of all to be selfless. Dr. Robinson, who's the director, used to always tell us, get over yourself. And that still resonates with me today. That's why I'm a servant. That's why I do what I do, to continue down the road of redemption, to redeem myself. So hands down, it would be the Bible college. And one of the hardest things that we do in the Bible college as ministers, some of us, I chose to deliver death messages because somebody had to deliver that death message to me when my mother died, when my father died. So I took on their responsibilities to pay back. So the Bible college, hands down, is one of my greatest achievements that I have the most pride in, sir, because it gave me the foundation that I have now and that I will carry if the board affords me into the communities that desperately need it.
Okay. And I just want to note for the record that we do have a letter from Congressman Higgins, and we also had a letter from Senator Jeffery Gautreaux on your behalf, and numerous inmates and others have written very highly of you, so you are respected in the prison community for sure. Let's see, I don't think I have any other questions.
Any other questions?
I do. I wanted to ask you a question. I saw that you had contraband in 2020. Is that correct? And if so, why?
Yes, ma'am.
Marijuana.
The marijuana. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. Okay. So then the second question, are you still paralyzed? I heard you said that you were paralyzed. Are
No,
you still
ma'am.
paralyzed, or have you healed?
No, ma'am, I have healed through the grace of God. I am well and healthy.
Okay. Okay, let me ask you about the security guard that was shot. See that he was shot in the leg.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
know anything about his injuries that maybe he had to live with afterward? Has anybody talked to you about that?
No, ma'am. I don't have any knowledge of it, of anything afterwards. No, ma'am.
Well, and you wouldn't have any contact. I mean, that would be against the law. And I don't know either, but I can tell you this, I have dealt with a lot of victims that were shot in the leg, shot in the back, different things like that. They didn't get to go on with life as they knew it. They stayed in pain. They usually had to retire from their job, different things like that. Now, I don't know, this security guard, it may have been just went through his muscle and it was no trouble whatsoever. Then again, it could have shattered his leg. I don't know. But then we do know that the man was killed. And I don't know if anybody told you that, but the autopsy is that it entered his hip, just above his, exiting just above his race on the right side. It lacerated his aorta, causing him to bleed to death. And I don't know if somebody can tell me, I thought I read that he was 22 years old. Is that correct? He was just a young man. And I know he and his wife certainly clearly seems like didn't have a happy marriage. And then you have a child that was having to watch all that. And you said that you intervened. You had the gun. And then I read in the report that you shot up in the air. Did you shoot up in the air or did you shoot into the crowd?
No, ma'am, I did not shoot in the air. I ducked when the first 2 to 3 shots were fired, I ducked down to avoid
Okay.
the shots myself. And then when I was raising up, the 2 security officers began to fire at me because I was the one that had the physical altercation with Mr. Bryant. And at that time, I began to fire 2 to 3 shots myself towards the officer. And I was already running away in a sense where I was shooting back, and then that's when I was hitting my back as well. Yes, ma'am.
Right, I saw you was hitting you back. But you know what, they have it here that the security wasn't able to, they weren't armed at the beginning of all of this. I mean, they weren't able to get to their guns. So all of this happened later. So you pulled your gun first?
No,
Because
ma'am.
of-
Robert Phillips, excuse me. Robert Phillips was the first person to put his gun and fire from the crowd behind us.
Oh, and he was your friend?
Yes, he was a former gang member in the same gang that I belong to, ma'am.
So he started it, and then it all just went bad, huh?
The shooting aspect of it was started by him, but me and Mr. Bryant has a physical altercation prior to this.
Well, the family's not speaking or anything today, but there's strong opposition, you know, with the family. I know about the DA and the sheriff. I know you know about that. And listen, and what you're doing is fabulous for prison ministries. Nobody can say anything wrong about that. But you know, sometimes your testimony comes out of pain. And sometimes it's the pain you cause others that you feel that you have to do something about it. So I don't know, this may be your calling in life, and it may lead to other things and eventually to where you want to be. But I want to thank you for the things that you have done, but there was a lot of consequences for that day. So I'm finished.
All right.
I got a question.
Mr. Tibbs.
You say you can walk? Mr.
Yes,
You
sir.
can. Okay, you've been in the Louisiana State Prison for how long?
I've been incarcerated for 31 years.
Where?
Yes.
Where were you? Where all were you incarcerated?
Oh, all of my time spent here, sir, in Louisiana State Prison.
Have you ever attended Kairos Ministry?
Yes, I have some decades ago though. I attended one of their retreats.
You did?
Oh yeah, I think I
Did
did.
you? What did you get out of those?
The thing that I got most, if I remember correctly, was the conversations. When you sit and you separate tables, like 5, 6 people at each table, and you just the conversations. Really nothing biblical, but just the life conversations that we had with those particular people.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember. One of the conversations that they had is the choices we make are the choices we have to live with. Do you remember that?
I think I do, sir.
Yeah. Choices we make are the ones we have to live with. Okay.
All right, I don't see any other questions.
Move to an executive session.
We have a motion by Mr. Freeman for executive session.
A second.
We have a second by Mr. Tillis. Can you call the roll?
Milazzo,
Yes.
Freeman,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Tillis,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
All right, we'll be in executive session, Mr. Bolt, for a few moments to discuss confidential matters. All right, Ms.
Okay,
Freeman.
I'd like to make a motion that we go back into regular business.
I second.
Motion is second, to return to regular session without objection. We're back in regular session. It's 11:33. Mr. Bolt, we are prepared to vote. Mr. Freeman will be voting first.
Bo, I'm gonna tell you, on my paper, I had a big deny. Then you get here today and you talk and talk and you're doing some great, great things. And some things that I think this state needs. So I'm gonna go out on a limb for you. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'm gonna vote to grant. Commute to 99 years with immediate parole eligibility.
Mr. Tillis.
I concur with Mr. Freeman. I commend you on the services. The staff there at Louisiana State Prison, what they've done. And I hope you continue.
Mrs. Stapleton.
Sir, I think that you have found your calling in life. And sometimes, like I say, God puts us in bad situations to find a calling. And you can continue that calling inside or out. I am not going to vote to grant you today, but I tell you what, I'm impressed by you. And I'm proud for the people that's all around you that love you and believe in you. And I do too. And so wherever this leads, I wish you the best, but today I cannot vote for your computation.
Mr. Prater.
In 1994, I was the police chief up there, I believe. And Illinois Street Departments was a wild, wild, wild west show at that time. And everybody had guns. And I think because of the work that you've done there and everything else, that I think you deserve a chance. My vote is to concur with Mr. Freeman.
Mr. Bolt, I firmly believe that had you not landed in prison, you'd be dead. I do recognize what Warden Benoit has said. You're a leader among your peers, the strong support you've got from the congressman and others. My vote today also is to vote that your sentence be commuted to 99 years with immediate parole eligibility. So you've received 4 favorable votes. That's the recommendation we're going to make on your behalf to the governor. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ready for, Mr. Roosevelt Joseph? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Roosevelt Joseph, 423474.
Yes, sir, Mr. Joseph, you're here today before the pardon board seeking a commutation of your sentence. And you were sentenced to a life sentence in January of 2000 in Rapides Parish for a first-degree murder conviction. Is that
Yes,
correct,
ma'am.
sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Joseph, and let me acknowledge we have the parole project here with us, Mr. Kerry Myers, and he's going to say a few words on your behalf shortly. First, Mr. Joseph, tell us what you did to get in jail and why are you seeking a commutation of your sentence?
I take risk for full responsibility for my action, for what I did. When I know it was wrong for what I did, I took a life into my own hands and got angry, frustrated, and I'm sorry for what I did. And I wish I could see the family right now today to tell them that I'm sorry for what took place when I took their family member from them, as well as my family been hurt too. So, oh man. Yeah. But right now, thank God that I'm not that same person anymore. What it used to be 20 years ago right now. That life has changed from inside out. That I can see the big picture of everything I may achieve here in Angola. With the self-program with Justin Bible study, anger management, 100 hours, victim awareness accountabilities. So, excuse me, man. Oh man.
All right, well, we're going to ask you some questions in a minute. First, let's hear from the warden. What can you tell us about Mr. Joseph?
Well, the first thing that jumps out at me, he's only had one write-up in his entire time here. That's one of the best disciplinary records I've seen. He's taken a lot of classes. He's a minimum aid trustee. He lives at Camp F. He works on line 37. He's taken victim awareness and accountability letter training, anger management, 100 hours, and his target is low.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Myers, could we hear from the parole project?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project here on behalf of Mr. Joseph. We are prepared to offer Mr. Joseph support on a long-term basis based on his individual needs, as we've learned in speaking with him. As the warden said, Mr. Joseph, it's impressive. He's had one disciplinary write-up in 28 years. He's been a trustee for approximately 20 years. He's had the same job as a tractor driver for 20 years. And it just shows his stability in his character. He has taken those programs, the victim awareness and victim accountability, anger management. He's addressed many of the things that essentially led a lost and angry young man to commit a very senseless crime. But we believe Mr. Joseph is now fully aware of self-aware and has shown through his actions that he is a person worthy of redemption. So we just ask this board to consider his entirety of his record, his remorse, and grant his recommendation today.
All right, thank you. Mr. Joseph, your case was assigned to Ms. Stapleton. Would you answer her questions?
Hello, Mr. Joseph.
Hello.
I can see that you are very upset about remembering this crime. I see that. I can't even imagine that. You were charged and found guilty of first-degree murder, but it was actually first-degree murder and aggravated rape. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And the rape was particularly brutal. Am I correct about that? Which is why you probably get so very upset thinking about it.
Yes, ma'am.
You know the age of the lady that you raped?
I think she was 74.
Okay. I'm not going to go into anything. I don't have to. That right there speaks for itself. We don't have anybody here from the family speaking for her, but they were contacted and they did say it was okay. Knew that, you know, that they loved their aunt and that they miss her very much. I don't know if you're aware now with crime victims reparations, if something happens, the family doesn't have to clean up the crime scene. We have crime scene cleanup that helps people. But back then, when it did happen, clearly, there was a problem with that, and it was the family that had to clean up that crime scene. So we very terrible memories of it. I have to speak also on behalf of the victims and make sure that that they're remembered too. They are strongly opposed to you being released or getting a commutation or a pardon. So I have other than that.
Any other questions? I have one, Mr. Joseph. I heard from about all the programs you've taken.
Yes, ma'am.
One that really struck me though as missing, even though as Mrs. Stapleton said this, you know, you're doing time for murder, but there was also a rape involved. Had you ever asked for the sex offender treatment class?
Not really. I really didn't know they had one.
You did?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a concern for me at least, because I've read the details of what happened. I am really proud of your conduct record. I want to congratulate you on that. I know, as Warden Benoit said, it's really, you know, in all this time, only one write-up. That's quite remarkable. So,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't see any other. Where's your family today? You have any family?
I haven't heard from them in years.
Okay.
They all scattered out.
Yeah.
There's one I've been calling is my niece, and I haven't heard from her in a while.
All right. Well, I don't see any other questions, so I think we're prepared to vote, and Mrs. Stapleton will be voting first.
Based upon strong victim opposition and law enforcement opposition and the severity of the crime. Of course, it was death, but it was also that rape. My vote is to deny.
Mr. Prater,
I concur.
Mr. Freeman,
I concur for the same reason.
Mr. Tillis,
My vote is to grant with 99-year
all right,
and release to the parole project.
all right. Mr. Joseph, my vote today is going to be to deny your application, and that's because there is no sex offender treatment. I think based on the nature of the crime, I think that's essential for me to consider favorably. So you got a little more work to do, at least in my mind. So today you've received 4 votes to deny your application for clemency. Today your application's been denied, sir.
Wow.
We're gonna get you in that treatment program.
All right. Mr. Cotton, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
My name is Gregory Wayne Cotton, 11998.
All right, Mr. Cotton, you're here before the pardon board seeking a commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in Washington Parish, September 1987 to a life sentence for a second-degree murder. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Mr. Cotton, tell us why are you in jail and why are you seeking a commutation of your sentence?
Because I'm not the same person I was 39 years ago.
Why are you in jail?
A second-degree murder, ma'am.
Well, what'd you do?
I was charged with, I was the driver killing Billy Provo.
Well, I'm sure we'll ask you some more questions about that. First, let's hear from the warden. What can you tell us about Mr. Cotton?
I can tell you that Mr. Cotton is a minimum A, Class A trustee. He's assigned to Eagle Ford. He worked as a janitor and cleaner. He has a total of 41 DB reports, last report being 10/26/2016 for Rule 28. The only class he has taken is the 100-hour pre-release, which he completed in 2016. Mr. Cotton do not have any educational background due to his low IQ status. He was unable to complete any other programs.
Thank you. Mr. Cotton, your case was assigned to Mr. Freeman. Would you answer his questions?
Okay, Mr. Cotton, what was your involvement in the crime? What did you actually do yourself?
I was the driver, sir.
Okay. Did you hit the victim with a hammer?
The first hit.
Okay. I saw you say that. You hit him first because you had a better angle, I believe, and then y'all got in the truck and they continued to beat on him with a hammer and a pipe wrench?
Yes, sir.
You never thought about trying to stop him? You were too messed up on cocaine?
After the crime had started, I tried to stop him, tell him don't kill him.
All right. I see you couldn't take a whole lot of classes. I was gonna ask that. It's due to your intellectual ability. I mean, what grade of school did you finish?
12, special education.
Special education? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. How long had y'all been doing cocaine that night?
Well, for about 3 hours.
Okay, and what did y'all get from the robbery? How much money did y'all get?
$314.
$314?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and y'all split it up?
Yes, sir.
You took your share?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you said in your statement that he froze to death. You don't think he was dead when y'all dumped him?
No, sir.
How you know he wasn't dead?
Because the autopsy had frozen there.
Ah, okay, okay. Okay, yes. What kind of, well, I guess you, have you tried to do any AA meetings or anything like that? Since you've been there?
Sir. No, sir.
'Cause I mean, you had a bad drug habit. How do we know you're not gonna go back to using drugs?
Because I don't do drugs in Angola.
Yeah, I know, but what you, I mean, drugs on the outside these days and they're everywhere, so just not doing drugs in Angola. You're gonna need more help than that. Okay, I have no further questions.
How long have you been off drugs?
12 years.
12 years? How long have you been incarcerated?
39.
39. So you have a chance to do some drugs while you were incarcerated?
Yes, sir.
You don't think you need some drug classes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. I have no more questions.
I'm gonna ask you something. So this man at the service station, he's gonna help you because he thinks your fuse is blown. And so when he leans to look under the dashboard, you hit him with a claw hammer in the head. Is that right?
Yes, sir. But when he started coming up, my fall partner about to hit him, so he passing me. I hit him.
Okay. I just couldn't imagine. When I read the reports, I couldn't imagine that that's what it was. That's what it was. Okay, that's all.
Mr. Cotton, what's your job there?
Well, in Angola, I'm a night audit.
And where do you work as a night orderly?
I do the cell block, property and ICE.
And how long you had that job?
7 years.
Oh, all right. Well, good.
Let me ask another question.
All right, go ahead.
What do you plan to do and where do you plan to go if you're released?
Bogalusa.
You going back?
Yes, sir. Bogalusa.
You have family there?
Yes, sir.
What kind of work do you plan to do? You gonna get a job or what?
I learned a trade how to build chairs and swings and landscape and stuff like that.
You think it'll be a good place to go?
Well, anywhere better than prison.
Okay.
All right.
At least on the ranch.
And where is your family today?
Well, my mother just got her cataract out of her eyes. And my mother been having problems ever since 2012. And they come up here, and my little niece was 12 years old, and she had some kind of jogging pants on. So she was gonna go back to St. Francisville to get her. It ran them off the road. She been having knocked one of her eyes out. It gave her concussion, broke her rib and stuff. So my mom ain't been doing too well after that break.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Chairman Hudson,
Yes.
if it's okay if I speak, sorry to interject.
Yes.
Just saying, if Mr. Cotton was granted, I would get in touch with the parole project or someone to get some type of long-term care for him, where he won't return to the area that he committed the crime that he's originally from, and maybe help with some substance abuse. I would contact Carrie Myers and them and see could I, help him out if granted, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. I think we're prepared to vote. Mr. Freeman?
Can I move for an executive session again? I'm sorry.
I second.
We have a motion by Mr. Freeman, second by Mr. Tillis. Could you call the roll?
Yes.
Tillis,
Yes.
Freeman,
Yes.
Freeman,
Yes.
Renata.
Yes. We'll be in executive session for just a few moments to discuss confidential matters. It's 12:02. All right, is there a motion to go back into regular session?
Make a motion, we go back into regular session.
I'll
We
second.
have a motion by Mr. Tillis, second by Mrs. Stapleton. Without opposition, we're back in regular session. It's 12:05. We are prepared to vote, Mr. Cotton, and Mr. Freeman will be voting first.
Okay, Mr. Cotton, I think the main concern is that you've had no drug treatment whatsoever and you committed this crime because you were freebasing cocaine. I mean, you definitely were out of your mind when this crime was committed. The problem is 12 years ago, you were still using drugs in prison. And I think you need to attend some AA meetings. I think that in the future may be your time, but today it isn't. My vote today is to deny.
Mr. Tillis,
I concur with Mr. Freeman. My vote is to deny.
Mrs. Stapleton,
I concur with Mr. Freeman, and I would add because of the heinous nature of the crime.
Mr. Prater.
I concur.
All right, Mr. Cotton, you've received 4 votes to deny your application today. I think you have some more work to do. So today, sir, your application's been denied. Good luck to you, sir.
AA and NA is volunteer,
Okay,
and it
that's
should be
it.
done in your dormitory, okay?
Right, we're over.
We're over. So next.
I'm trying.
All right, that concludes our business, Warden. It's 12:06. We're going to sign off. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, Mr. Chiasson. Yeah, are you on mute still?
I think I got it turned off.
Yeah, you're back. I see. I can hear you now. All right,
Okay.
so would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your current mailing address.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. My name is Lonnie Chiasson Jr. My current address is 1218 Ethel Street, Lockport, Louisiana.
And let's see, you have your Aunt Dana Morvant, who's also joined us by Zoom. We're going to call on her in just a few moments for her remarks. Mr.
Yes,
Chiasson, here before the pardon board seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms. You were sentenced in Lafourche Parish, June of 2015, possession of Xanax. Your sentence that was suspended, you were placed on 3 years active probation. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
So, Mr. Chiasson, tell us about why you're seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms.
Yes, ma'am. I am seeking a restoration with pardon of firearms because since the charge 9 years ago or so, I've been full-time employed every day since my release date that I was last served time on this charge. And I grew up hunting and fishing in South Louisiana, and I just seek to be able to do hunting and the things I once enjoyed the legal way again, ma'am. I have done all my time for this crime, all my fines and court fees, all my probation time, everything in my possible power, I was able to do has been completed in full for this crime. And I'd like to say, ma'am, you know, I was rehabilitated over this 9 years ago. The day I stepped foot out of the Foose Parish Detention Center, I went from the very next day of my release date, riding around town a Lockport on a bicycle, to now working on one of the biggest all-rig drilling platforms in the world, flying in and out of the Gulf of Mexico. So I've been rehabilitated a long time now. Haven't touched any type of illegal substance since. And I just feel like, ma'am, you know, I seek to do things the right way and the legal way, and I'm able to do everything. But one of the things I love most and enjoy, you know, in sportsman paradise in Louisiana, is hunting, and I just seek to be able to do it the legal way, ma'am.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. Well, we'd like to hear from your aunt, Dana Morvant. Ma'am, what would you like us to know about your nephew?
Hi. Well, as he said, we live in sportsman's paradise where hunting and fishing is a daily part of life. And Lonnie has been clean and on the up and up for close to 10 years now. I mean, he's 31 years old, and he did make some mistakes in his youth for sure. But I do feel like he definitely has paid his consequence. He's a good citizen. He takes care of his business. He's a worker. He's a taxpayer. He's humble. Let me say he's humble, and he's full of honor and heart. He's full of humility. He owns it. He doesn't make excuses for his youthful mistakes. And I feel like he's a man of his word, and it's truly just a part of something we love in this area, including him. And it's something that I know would be important to him to do on his time off. He works offshore, like he said. But I wanted to say, and he beat me to it, about how right when he got out of jail, he went on foot and found himself a job sweeping sawdust for like $7 an hour after coming off of $100,000 a year job that he no longer had. And he owns his own mistakes. And like I said, he's so humble. And I'm sure you can probably hear that in his voice. And I'm not his mom, but he's had lots of people make excuses when they make mistakes. He's lost his grandparents who raised him. He's lost my sister, his mom, but he has never blamed his own mistakes on anybody but himself. Like I said, that's where his humility comes in. And I just know he's kind and has a big heart. And I'm a school teacher. And I think everybody who does the right actions deserves those second chances, you know, for those that put the work in.
Thank you. I tell you what, I could tell you're a teacher because the charts you have behind you are busy.
I'm on my lunch break.
That's all I do now.
I know,
Okay.
I don't remember.
Mr. Chiasson, your case has been assigned to Mr. Prater. Would you answer his questions?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
You were arrested in what year? What year did all this happen?
14.
Yeah.
2014, I believe.
Okay, which is how long ago?
That is almost 11 years ago, depending on the month. I'm sorry, I have trouble recalling the month and date of it.
You had said 9 years ago earlier, and I was wondering if I was wrong or if we needed to talk to your aunt or what about the math thing.
Yeah,
so it's been quite a while.
Yes, sir.
And you got arrested that time. You were arrested because you had a warrant or something out on you, correct? And then they found the 3 Xanax pills.
Yes, sir.
And
That's correct.
the warrant that you had, that was for fishing without a license?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so basically all you've ever had wrong that you've done and got caught with or caught doing was fishing without a license, and you had 3 Xanax pills 11 years ago.
Yes, sir. I believe it was 2, if I'm not mistaken.
2 Xanax. Okay, excuse me. I'm
Yes,
putting
sir.
too much on you. And you worked at the same place since 2018, correct?
Yes, sir.
Got a very reputable job. Have you been in trouble since 2014?
No, sir. Nothing besides minor traffic violations.
Okay. How many of those?
That I've completed. I believe it's called ATI, a program or something Louisiana offers online that you can do the classes.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have.
All right.
You say you wanted it to go back hunting.
Yes, sir.
How many you killed last year? How many did you?
None, sir.
Was a trick question.
Yeah, well,
All right. I have no more questions.
Thank you. I think we're ready to vote, Mr. Prater.
All right. Because you answered that question, Mr. Tillis asked you right, I vote that you've been given a pardon with restoration.
Mr. Freeman.
Thank you, sir.
Fully support that. I vote for a pardon with restoration.
Mr. Tillis.
Also, I concur.
Mrs. Stapleton.
I agree.
And as do I. So my vote is the same. Pardon with restoration of firearms. We're going to make that recommendation on your behalf. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you all very much. God bless you all.
All right, good morning. Ms. Babb, would you introduce yourself, please? Tell us your, well, actually, it's afternoon.
Hello?
Tell us your name and your mailing address, please. Ms. Babb, can you hear us? She froze up.
She's from
There we go. Tell us your name and your mailing address.
Peggi Babb, 107 North View Drive, Fayette, Texas, 75189.
All right, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. And I see you have Mr. Burkett there with you, and we're going to hear from him in just a moment. First, Ms. Babb, you're seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms today. You were sentenced in Caddo Parish in May of 2009 for theft. You received a 5-year sentence that was suspended, and you were placed on 5 years probation. Is that information correct?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Babb, would you tell us what happened? Why were you convicted of theft, and why are you seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms?
Okay, the reason that happened was I moved up there by myself. I needed something to do. And I picked the wrong thing. And I got in debt with credit cards. So I borrowed the money.
Okay, why are you seeking a restoration of firearms, a pardon with restoration of firearms?
I took the class. I'm wanting to get an LTC. And
what?
A license to carry.
Oh, LTC. Okay, I'm sorry.
And I need the governor's pardon.
Right. Okay. Well, let's see. What does Mr. Burkett have to say? Mr. Burkett, what would you like us to know?
Well, pretty much I can just tell you that she hadn't had any more problems like that, and she's been doing good. Had any problems for all or anything. The finances are in order.
I haven't ever done anything like that and never will again.
All right. Your case has been assigned to Mrs. Stapleton. Would you answer her questions?
Yeah.
Hey, I just have very few questions, basically because there is no law enforcement or district attorney. They have no comment on it. So that's good. But Chevy Land, where you worked, your supervisor wrote in, and the payroll coordinator, and not to go through everything, but she wrote that all the stolen funds were repaid by Ms. Babb. We are not opposed to clemency being granted for Ms. Babb. And she doesn't believe you would make a mistake like that again. And then I read your notice too, that that you were very remorseful over what happened. I have no problems with your case and what you're requesting. That's me.
Any other questions?
Very good people. I did wrong. As soon as I got out, I sent money back the next day. My parole officer had me a first offender. I did good, and I won't do it again. I haven't been to a casino or anything, and I'm not going to.
Well, good for you, because that's an addiction, gambling. So I'm glad to get over it, just like an alcoholic or anyone else. It's very difficult, but I'm very proud of you, and I know your family is too.
Well, thank you.
All right, I don't see any other questions, Ms. Babb. I think we are ready to vote. Mrs. Stapleton?
I vote to recommend, what did she ask?
Pardon with firearms.
Pardon with firearms.
Mr. Prater?
I concur.
Mr. Freeman,
I concur.
Mr. Tillis.
I concur.
And I do as well. So Ms. Babb, on your behalf, we're going to make the recommendation to the governor for a pardon with restoration of firearms. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now what do I do?
All right, that concludes our business for today. Ms. Aggie, we're having to continue the Castro Valdez case because we're having trouble getting in touch with him. So we're going to continue his case to another day. So we're going to sign off and adjourn at 12:34.